Hi, I'm Danika Dinsmore, creator of Social Installations. At Social Installations, we focus on all aspects of the creative process. We focus on possibility. The concept of Social Installations is that every season, 4 women create something in real time over the course of the podcast episodes. Whether that thing comes to fruition or not is actually up to you. That's not a gimmick, it's part of the experiment. Because most ideas do not come to fruition. If you've been following along this season and you'd like to see the road trip happen, which we will document, live stream, and share with you as much as possible, please consider our fundraising campaign on Seed and Spark. We would love for you to join us on this endeavor. And now, hello, I'm Danika Dinsmore. This is Social Installations, Season 1, The Road Trip, and this is our first detour. I have as a guest Jasmine Howes of the Gabriola Theatre Center.
Hello.
Jasmine is new to Social Installations. She jumped on board for who knows what reason. She represents the first stop on our tour on Gabriola Island, which is where our lovely Scarlett Chen lives. We had decided on one of the episodes that let's start on Gabriola Island, even though it's a little trick to get to. And Scarlett said, well, the only place on the island to have this launch party would be Gabriola Theatre Center.
Aw, that's so sweet.
Yeah. My big question is always, why the heck did you jump on board? I barely had the words out of my mouth explaining what we were doing, and you enthusiastically embraced not only the cause, but then generously offered, so much to us.
Well, a lot of it has to do with Scarlett. Scarlett was one of the very first people that came into the theater center when I first reopened it in 2023 and wanted to do a comedy show in there. And so I've had this working relationship with Scarlett over the years, but mostly I also just enjoy her as a lovely human. She's such an incredibly creative person. She has such lovely energy. I just want to support her in whatever way. So if there's something she's attached to, I'm like, yes. But also I have this excitement and enthusiasm for things that happen here. In my past life, before I was doing this artistic direction of this theater, I was a Montessori preschool teacher and administrator. And child development has also always been like a passion of mine. But creative development is so exciting when you're working with adults that I am just feel like I'm shifted. So finding out that this was about creative agency, about the process of the whole concept of a social installation, all of this I find fascinating. And I really wanted to support it in whatever way I could. There is this creative energy within that building. And so bringing creative things to the building, I feel like it's kind of, it's a mission that I have to do.
Speaking of the theater, I would love for you to talk a little bit about Gabriola Island itself and how the theater fits into that. I always say the town of Gabriola, because I asked Scarlett, is there a town? What's the village called? She goes, it's just called the village. It doesn't have a name. Like, no. The island is so small, there's no towns.
It is an island that is a very significant island to the Sinemo people, who have only a very small part of the island that is a reservation. No one lives there. On Gabriola, there are over 200 petroglyphs, so it's actually a significant place, and it was more of a summer village. So they had 5 different villages here from the Sinemo.
Oh, wow.
And one of them translates to fast moving waters. And so the theater center itself was my grandfather. So Anthony Holland retired from teaching at Studio 58.
Studio 58 was in Vancouver.
Yes, yeah. And so he came here in the 90s. He had his second wife, and she went away for a holiday, and when she returned, he had turned what was a furniture making workshop into the theater. So he had
Ta-da!
and the interior space of the theater is the size of an Olympic fencing ring, because he was a Shakespearean actor. Anyone who was going to be in this theater space was going to know how to fence.
Did his wife know he was going to do this, and did she approve?
I think she approved. I don't think she thought it was going to happen as quickly as it did, but they really built it together. So he was an incredible orator, and his sort of idea of theater as he got older was, he called it no bells and whistles. It was a black box, but there was no drapes, there was no sound system, nothing. It was just really like, how do we do this? And the community adored and loved him.
Was it because it was all about the acting? So strip everything else away and let's see good story, good acting. Yeah, okay. I get that. That's that's cool.
I never actually went to the theater during the time that my grandfather was here, which is also kind of a funny thing to consider, that this is what I do now. We found out that the owners wanted to sell. We found out what they wanted. By the time we came to see it, there were 6 other people. So I wrote this like heartfelt letter, please, 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 let me have this property so that I can, bring the theater back. I didn't anticipate that when that would happen. But when COVID came and everything shut down, that's when I realized I didn't want to live in Vancouver anymore. I actually needed to be on this island. When we reopened it in October of 2023, I had no idea what it was doing. I didn't know anything. So the first year was just literally trying to rent the space out, bringing people in, and trying to pay artists as much as I could. That was all I wanted to do. And then I started telling the story of my grandfather's theater, and I was so welcomed by people in the arts community.
Wow.
And I felt like, oh my God, if I'm transitioning into an entirely new career, this is the best career to transition. People are so generous of sharing and helping you figure things out.
You referenced earlier that creative agency, and part of creative agency, one of the elements that really interests me the most is the risk-taking element. And you took that leap of faith. You said, I didn't know what I was doing.
Yep.
And that's exactly where we were when we started Social Installations. And it's one of the most important things that I want our audience members to understand, is that each endeavor that we take as a creative person, we don't know what we're doing. We just know that if we go in this direction, we'll figure it out. We trust the process. We trust that people will join in, like-minded people. We're of a certain age, and so is our audience, so they'll understand this reference. I'm a children's author, and I was at the Society for Children's Book Writers and Illustrators in their 40th anniversary in Los Angeles. They kept saying there was a surprise guest, and that morning they said the surprise guest is Judy Blume. Exactly. And suddenly I'm a 12-year-old girl going, it's Judy Blume, it's Judy Blume, it's Judy Blume, it's Judy Blume. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. It's right. Yeah. And Judy Blume comes on. It's Judy Blume, right? Icon for people our age, right? Women our age. And she said, for each book that she writes, she has no idea where it's going to go, if it'll get finished, if she can do it. Is a new slate of doubt, a new slate of the unknown. For Judy Blume, each book was new.
That's amazing.
Right?
That's like that. And to be able to trust that it will come together or not, right?
Or not. Yeah.
Yeah. Or not. And to, that's That's really
Yeah.
inspiring, actually.
I still call this
Yeah.
Schrodinger's road trip. When we open the box, we don't know if the road trip is alive or dead.
Yeah.
However, we do have a plan B, and
Yep.
I'm not going to say what the plan B is yet, but regardless of plan A or plan B, we're coming to Gabriola Theater. Like
Yoo-hoo!
that is set.
Yes.
Right? That day,
Yeah.
whether we're driving to Nelson or not, we are coming to Gabriola Theater Center to have a launch party. And thank you so much for your generosity, for sharing your story, for your enthusiasm, for your dedication to the arts and artists. So I want to thank my guest, Jasmine Howes from the Gabriola Theater Center. Signing off for now. This has been Social Installations Detour. Bye.
Bye.
You've been listening to Social Installations Creative Thinging, Season 1, The Road Trip. For more information on how to fund, go to socialinstallations.com.